Greetings, folks. Welcome to Moneycontrol.com's virtual session. Today, we'll be discussing about a topic that was, if not the most trending and the hottest topic of 2022, but it was at least one of the most trending topic. It made headlines all around the year. We'll be looking into cryptocurrencies and exploring how the scenario is in India and what are the challenges that cryptocurrencies, basically private cryptocurrencies, face in India. To explore more on that, we have with us Mr. Kashif Raza. He is the founder and CEO of Bitiining and a crypto expert. Thank you, Mr. Raza, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Mr. Raza, my first question to you is if we look at the current state of cryptocurrencies globally and more the Indian Indian scenario as such of the cryptocurrencies, how do you see the industry go moving ahead in the coming year?
Cryptocurrency, when we say cryptocurrency, so there are two areas where, the industry is growing. One, if you see the perspective from the trading perspective, like, people are going on to exchanges and they're trading, various crypto assets. So from that perspective, things are really not good because the volumes of many exchanges have gone down by 90%, right? And because, since the introduction of the taxation thing, the tedious thing that came in on 1st of July. So I think from that perspective and from after the recent introduction of the taxation, I think the industry is really not in a good shape. Now the second aspect of crypto is the web3 aspect. It's the aspect where, most of the startups, they're trying to make a decentralized application, on Ethereum and on various other blockchains. And from that perspective, the builders, the developers who are building something in this space are not worried about the prices. In from that aspect, I can tell you that a lot of action is happening from India, and a lot of developers are working on various decentralized applications. So from that perspective, I think not much has deteriorated. Just that the fresh money, the VCs are a little careful, in putting in their money in new projects.
So recently, Shaktikanta Das, the governor of the Reserve Bank of India, he said that the next big financial crisis in India could come from private cryptocurrencies. So how do you react to this?
Yeah, so my first reaction to that is that it's really not true. In US, uh, when it comes to crypto, two entities are responsible to draft a framework around crypto. One is the SEC, that is the Securities Exchange Commission, and the other is CFTC, that is the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, right? So CFTC looks after the commodity in US, SEC looks after the securities part, right? And then you have the central bank there as well, that is the Federal Reserve, right? So in India, what is happening right now that SEBI is quiet, and all the action and all the communication that is happening from the RBI side. Now, RBI doesn't look after the securities. When I say securities, that is the stocks and the companies. All these stocks and market, the stock market is being held by the, or is taken care by the SEBI in India. But the payment side, the monetary side is taken care by the RBI, right? Now, when RBI says that crypto is a threat to the monetary system, what RBI is trying to tell you is basically they're just trying to tell us that crypto, if allowed as a mode of payment, is will prove to be a threat to the existing monetary system of the country. And when they say that, they are 110% right? So, but the only point is that who is allowing crypto to be used as payment, right? Nobody is allowed that, and nobody is planning to do that. And even from the perspective of the user, if you ask any investor who is investing in crypto, in crypto space, and you ask them that will you like crypto to be used as payments, they'll say no. People look at crypto as a form of investment, right? They want to invest in it as a new asset class, as a new digital class. They want to invest in that, right? So people are looking at crypto from a perspective of investment and not from a perspective of using it as a payment. When you are allowing them as a mode of investment, right, then it's a altogether different ball game. And I think from there SEBI role comes into play, and SEBI is the right regulator to say, okay, there are various cryptos and they look more like a security, right? So we have an expertise in managing the securities and how they should be dealt. So security part we look after it, and if there is something related to the monetary side or an investment side, or maybe in future remittances side or a payment side, that policy need to be made by RBI. So I think in all the other countries, like in established developed countries, the regulator who looks after the commodities and securities, they are both involved. But in India specifically, you must have seen that there is hardly any statement that has come from the SEBI side. Everything is coming from the RBI side.
Just taking a note from that, how do you think that if we look at global examples of how government and regulators are working in cohesion to bring some or the other thing about cryptocurrencies in the market, how do you see that RBI in cohesion with the government and SEBI can work around something and bring a secured form of trading as well as investment thing around cryptocurrencies? How do you see that happening?
Yeah. So the answer the answer lies in the recently issued financial stability report of RBI. If you have gone through that report, the report has just come recently, and in that report they have actually suggested three approaches. Three in a said so any nation around the world or any regulator can adopt three-way approach of looking at crypto. The first approach is that all the principles and guidelines and the law that are available and that are applicable to the traditional markets right now can be applied to crypto straight away. The first approach is that, right? The second approach is to prohibit it or ban it altogether, right? And the third approach to crypto is that you allow crypto to you know uh, implode, and you allow it to grow on its own. And there could be a time when, because since the crypto doesn't have the fundamental basis for growth, it will fall on its own. And like the FTX scenario in particular, we saw that crypto is definitely vulnerable. And since after the FTX fiasco, so you allow crypto to grow on its own and allow crypto to fall on its own, right? So that is the third approach. So RBI has given three approaches. What approach they believe in is yet to be seen. Right now, their approach right now is to in media, whenever they say, they seem to be very hostile. But I think being hostile is one thing, and the statements that are coming from the government are very different from what RBI says. So I think in any nation, the central bank is a autonomous body that works independently. Similarly, that is the case in India. But as we know that despite being autonomous, they still need government support, and they work very closely for any policy to be driven. So I think government seems to be working with G20 to come up with a framework that is applicable, internationally, and with the help and coordination of all the nations in G20. So government is working on that side. RBI is completely hostile. I think they need to come up with a middle path, right? Maybe to come up with a solution that is a win-win solution for government and the RBI.
So, looking into the digital initiatives of RBI and its stance on crypto, and how do we see that it would work on crypto in the coming years? How do you see and how do you react to RBI's recent launch of its central bank digital currency or the e-rupee? How do you see that people will react to it?
Yeah, so central bank digital currency is something that 105 countries are working on it. 105 central banks in the world are, working on it, and uh, not many countries have been successfully, able to do a pilot. Right now, if you see the difference between UPI and CBDC will be that in UPI, when you're making a payment to someone, you need a bank from at your end, and then you also need a bank and at the at the receiver's end. So two banks are involved, right, in making that transaction possible, right? So you need a middleman to do that transfer, right? So but in case of CBDC, the transaction is instant, like the settlement happens instantly, right? And this technology, by the way, of peer to peer settlement is basically that was started by Bitcoin only. The Bitcoin network is the first network in the world where you were able to send your monetary value without depending upon a third party. It's a peer to peer network. It's a peer to peer settlement. Final settlement happens on on Bitcoin network, and that was actually the innovation. And from that innovation, whatever you see today in Web3 and now the CBDCs has taken inspiration from that itself, right? Now the whole point is that when it comes to CBDC, right, CBDC's main objective has also been to it's an answer to crypto from the government side, right? The governments always wanted to come up, because they are seeing that there is definitely an adoption happening in the crypto space, in the private cryptocurrency space, as they say it. So they wanted to come up with an answer. Wanted to come up with an alternative to the people, that okay, you don't go to crypto, we have a solution to it, right? And while doing it, the issue right now here is that we already had UPI, right? Now for a normal person, normal individual, if he's able to transfer, he's able to buy something, he's able to pay something from UPI, and if the same function is happening through CBDC, for him it doesn't matter if his transaction is getting settlement, it's getting finally settled, or is there an intermediary there or not. Like for him, all what matters is that he's able to buy his stuff through his mobile phone, and the payment happens and the receiver gets its money. So for him there is not much of a difference between UPI and CBDC. So the government, to repeat the historic achievements of UPI, and the timings of UPI was such that you had demonetization, then you had you had COVID, and then you had lockdowns, right? So because of that, I think UPI timing was such that it was a historic achievement. I think world is looking after that. World is yet to believe that India has achieved something like that, the kind of achievement that has happened in UPI space, right? But to repeat the same success in CBDC will be a very tough this thing. Why? Because there is not much of a difference. Now why people are going after crypto is, let's understand, people are not, again, once again, people are not going after crypto to use it as a mode of payment. They are going to crypto is because of, from the investment perspective. Now here, if governments are trying to push CBDC to counter crypto, I think they will still not be able to do that. That's my gut feeling, because the whole objective of people entering into crypto is very different. It is different from using it as a mode of payment. They are going there for investment, for for investing in future technologies. And CBDC is trying to solve the problems of payments. And that is the reason I feel that both are not in competition to each other. And CBDC's success can only be gauged when people can see a difference in using a CBDC. Say for example, if government would have said that if somebody will keep their money in CBDC, will get additional 2% interest, people would have gone to buy, take CBDC, that I'm getting something extra. So I don't think so. Since there is not much of a difference between UPI and CBDC, I don't know why people will be motivated. But I think still, let's give it to the government. Let's give it to RBI for doing and coming up with a pilot project as quick as that.
Right. So if we look at the near future for cryptocurrency and CBDC in India, we do have a time that would require more innovation, more cautious approach, and of course, more regulatory inputs. Thank you so much, Mr. Raza, for joining us. Thank you so much for your inputs.
Thank you very
I would
much.
request our viewers to please visit moneycontrol.com and read more news about cryptocurrencies, business, banking, and markets. Thank you.